Hello guys, it's Maya and welcome back to my channel. Autumn is nearly here, so of course here are some autumn book recommendations. A lot of you guys have been requesting this, and also a few of you guys wanted some cozy books perfect for a rainy day, and all of these also match the criteria for that. All of these are either young adult, middle grade, and there's a couple of adult books. And I'm gonna write the age rating for each one. And all these books, they're either set in autumn is happening within them just like it is for us right now, or they just give off really cozy vibes that would be perfect for reading in autumn. Yay! Autumn is like one of the best times for binging books and just reading all the time. So I'm really excited to recommend you guys some new books. Also recently read a few new ones, so I can include them in this video. But before we get started, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I've been wanting to write more recently, and I know a lot of you guys are currently working on your own books and stories too, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm stuck with my outline and plot, and overall it has been very discouraging, which I know is kind of normal and a lot of authors go through it, but it's a little tricky to come out of it. But when I found some relevant classes on Skillshare, hope was reignited. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes and a wide range of topics, including creative writing, filming, illustration, productivity, content creation, social media, instruments, and so much more. Not only am I interested in the creative writing workshop and writing fiction courses, but the Learn Guitar and YouTube Success classes sound really cool too. They recently added a few new things to their website, like smarter class categories, 3 new class topics, and new users are asked to share a little bit about their interests, and Skillshare immediately uses that information to give you some recommendations. Fall is here, and so is the time for learning. Since I graduated high school last year, I have a lot of free time to pursue my goals and hobbies, get productive, and of course, improve my outlining and writing skills using Skillshare. And now for the exciting bit. The first 500 people to use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial. If you're interested, now is the time to try it out! Ooh, let me know what hobbies you're most excited to get into. Anyways, back to these juicy recommendations. We'll start with the young adult books. Our first recommendation is Air Awakens. I read this really recently and I loved it. We follow our main character Vala, who is a library apprentice at the Imperial Library. She's always been taught to fear sorcerers and their magic, and always viewed it as very unnatural and stay away from that. But when she unknowingly saves the crown prince and her own powers start manifesting, she has to decide either embrace that new side of her and leave the life she's known, or remove the magic out of her completely and just remain as a library apprentice, safe and cozy between the stacks of books. This was such a comforting, cozy, fast-paced fantasy that I just so easily was able to curl up on my bed or the couch with. I think I really like books about librarians because they're so comforting for some reason. Reading a book about books, what is better than that? And it was also autumn in this book. There was like an autumn festival and everything. I really loved the friendships in this book, although I feel like the friendship between her and the crown prince happened a little too quickly, but it was still really fun to read about. I would say that a couple of the plot twists were a little predictable. I could see that ending coming, and I wasn't super fond of the ending, but overall, the majority of this book was amazing. Super easy to binge, and I really hope that the rest of the series is also as bingeable as this, because I read this in like 4 or 5 days, which is really fast for me. This is random, but there's also letters in this. I like when there's books where they exchange notes or letters, and that will happen in here. And overall, this book just felt like an autumn night breeze with ink and pages and magic. Next is Twilight. This is not for everybody. Don't click off this video yet. There's definitely a lot of hate, a lot of love for this book. I'm definitely someone who loves it. I feel like it's perfect for autumn. It just perfectly encompasses all of those autumn vibes. And I don't know what she put into this book, but it was literally addicting and so hard to put down. I finished this in 2 days. But basically, our main character, Bella, moves to the gloomy town of Forks and meets this vampire guy who goes to her school. Until now, Edward always managed to keep his dark secret, but Bella is determined to figure it out, and she doesn't realize that the more she gets closer to him, the more at risk she puts herself and her family and everyone she loves and knows. An autumn staple. Next is Caraval. This follows Scarlet, who enters a magical game to save her sister, except nothing is as it seems. Remember, it's only a game. This was full of mysteries, dark secrets, twists, danger, and illusions, and Scarlet must try and find a way to figure out the truth. This is very atmospheric. I love the mysteries, the vibes in this, the romance was great too, and it 100% gives off autumn vibes. Very cozy to curl up with. Now we have one of my favorite books of all time, Heartless. If you've been subscribed for a while, you know how much I love this. This is a retelling of the Queen of Hearts origin story. We follow Catherine, who's a talented baker. She dreams of opening her own shop, but her life takes a turn when she's drawn into courts. The king wants to marry her, but she doesn't want to, and there's a forbidden romance between her and somebody else. And this was just so whimsical. It felt like so dreamy, comforting. Definitely autumn vibes. There's even like a pumpkin patch and everything. You will not regret reading this, and I think it will leave you in a book hangover. But honestly, if a book leaves you in a book hangover, that's a good thing. Not all books have the power to do that. And Marissa Mayer always writes her romances so good. Like, I don't know what she puts in there. I don't know how she knows how to write out these feelings so well, but she does it every single time. Next is the Lunar Chronicles series. This is also by Marissa Mayer. This series doesn't necessarily take place in autumn, but I feel like it's so perfect and cozy and just a really fun fantasy to binge during the autumn. So putting this in here too. These are retellings as well. She's like the queen of retellings. Gilded, this does give off major autumn vibes. I think it is set in autumn. It's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I have not read the second book yet. Personally, this wasn't my absolute favorite, but it did give off cozy villagey vibes, haunted castle vibes. Next, this one isn't set in autumn, but again, perfect to read in autumn. That's The Cruel Prince. Very nice, folkish fairy vibes. The way Holly Black writes fairies is just so great. There's courtly intrigue, mysteries, a really cool badass main character, and an enemies to lovers, which gets better and better as the series goes on. Jude and her sister were stolen away when they were little to live in Elfheim, and 10 years later, Jude really wants to belong there, but a lot of the Fae despise humans, and that includes the prince, Cardan. And Jude wants to win a place in the court, which means she's gonna have to defy them, risk herself, and face the consequences. Next is Twin Crowns. It really gives off major YA fantasy vibes, but I like it. There were a bunch of tropes in this book, but they were all done very well, and they felt very fun and bingeable to read. I don't think this is set in autumn. It's very cozy and perfect to read during autumn. Anyways, we have two twin sisters. They were separated, and one of them was raised as the princess, eventually gonna inherit the crown, and the other one was raised with the witches, and she's gonna attempt to steal the crown from her sister and let the witches rule. This is dual POV, so we see both of their sides, and there's two romances, and this is pretty underrated and very enjoyable, entertaining. My bookshelf behind me is just slowly beginning to empty. Next, we have the False Prince series. There's 5 books in the series, but we currently only own 4 of them, and I read only 3 of them so far. We follow Sage, who's an orphan, and he and some other orphan boys get chosen by this nobleman who wants to train them to become princess, choose the best one out of them, and tell the people, I found the lost prince. They crown him, and then the nobleman will kind of like control everything behind the scenes. This is super fun to read about their trainings and stuff as secrets unravel and danger rises, how our main character navigates this deadly game of deception. The humor in this was also extremely good, and our main character is amazing, and the plot twists in this were really good too. Highly recommend. I don't think this took place in fall. I forgot when it took place, but I think it's perfect for reading in fall. Next is the Inheritance Games series. I've only read the first one so far, but I am thinking about reading the other 2 this autumn because while this series doesn't necessarily take place in autumn, it gives off really moody and mysterious vibes that seem really fitting. We follow Avery, just a normal girl who inherits a billionaire's fortune from someone who she doesn't even know. But she can only claim it if she stays in their mansion for a whole year and unravels the puzzles and mysteries left by that rich man, while also dealing with his family who barely got anything from him, so they're kind of mad at the dead person and also kind of mad at her for inheriting everything, and some of them may try to make it difficult for her. Some of them might try to build trust with her or have romantic feelings. Now we have The Witch Haven, which is set in autumn. The season really adds to its atmospheric, mysterious feel and complements the story's dark magic and historical setting. We follow Frances, who is a seamstress in 1911 New York City, who discovers she has magical powers after a sudden tragedy. She's whisked away to this boarding school for witches, where she discovers dark secrets and a dangerous conspiracy, all while dealing and learning with her new powers. This feels like a historical fiction and fantasy mix, which it is. And we also have a romance here with someone she's not supposed to. Okay, I put some of these books back so we can have a better background, but the majority are still scattered around here. Also, the Hunger Games series is really great to binge. It gives off perfectly moody, cozy vibes. Although personally, I'd only recommend the first 2 books. Obviously, you're gonna want to read the 3rd book too, to like see how it all ends, but I really did not like the 3rd book at all. It went downhill in here, but if we just pay attention to these 2, it was fun. And now we have the 2 adult books that I was talking about, but I feel like they could easily be young adult books because there's nothing really that bad in them. One of them may be for a bit older readers, and the other one I feel like is 100% perfectly fine to be a young adult book. First, I finished reading this today, and oh my gosh. That is The Spell Shop by Sierra Beth Durst. This is a cozy fantasy. I think it's one of the first cozy fantasies I've read because most of the other fantasies that I read, they have like bigger things at stake and they're a little more dramatic and you know. But this was more easygoing, cozy, comforting, and I'm really liking the cozy fantasy genre now. If you have any more recommendations for that, let me know. We follow Kiela, who is a librarian. As I said, I love books about librarians. Anyways, there is unrest in their city, a rebellion happening, and when they set fire to the city and to the library, she and her friend, a talking plant, Kaz, he's hilarious by the way, they have to flee. Luckily, she's been preparing just in case. She managed to get a few crates of books, spell books, and she and Kaz sail away and don't look back. They sail to her childhood home, a small island on the outer edges of the empire, and kind of start life again there. This felt like the Boxcar Children, how they're like making the boxcar their cozy home and stuff, and also Stardew Valley, how they're helping the island and healing it with magic and meeting the villagers, perhaps a little small romance, trying new spells, and exploring, and making jam, of course, lots of jam. I really love this. There's also really good humor. I laughed a lot through this book and I had a really fun time with it. I always wanted a book where there isn't something super dramatic happening. Like, there's still high enough stakes in this that I care, but it's not like life or death. Although I suppose, I don't know, it's kind of more chill, you know? And yeah, this is an adult book, but there's absolutely nothing inappropriate or bad or anything. I feel like this perfectly could pass for a young adult book. And the other book is The Night Circus. It's about a mysterious circus that appears only at night. We follow 2 illusionists, Celia and Marco, who are bound in a game, a high-stakes competition of magic. This is just so enchanting, mysterious, full of wonder and some romance. Personally, I did not really like Marco that much, but their romance was still good. And I adored the circus setting. This is also set a little bit more back in the day. I feel like it's good for ages 15 plus or 16 plus. Probably maybe 16 plus. And now onto the middle grade books. And I'm going to do this a little bit more rapid fire, faster. First is Seraphina and the Black Cloak. This book is a historical fiction mixed with supernatural elements. We follow Seraphina, who lives in the basement of Biltmore Estates, kind of hidden away, and when people start disappearing, she must face her fears and confronts a mysterious evil. And I enjoyed reading about this because I've actually been at Biltmore Estate multiple times before, and it was so fun like imagining those rooms and scenes because I know exactly what they look like because I've been there. So that was really cool to read about. Next we have the Shadow Weaver series. First we have a duology, Shadow Weaver and Comet Rising, and then we have a 3rd book which is kind of separates to the series, but you should read this after this. Follow Emmeline, who can manipulate shadows. She must use her powers to uncover a sinister plot and protect the ones she loves. Definitely gives off spooky, Halloween-y vibes. And I liked reading about their powers because there's also other kids with other powers that are interesting to read about. Now we have Snow and Rose. This is cozy old fairy tale vibes. We follow these 2 sisters who venture into the magical forest. They must break a curse and save their family, save each other in a world of enchantment and danger. Now we have A Question of Magic. I really love this one. I feel like it's perfect for autumn. It's so cozy. We follow a witch who lives in her little witch hut. She actually didn't used to be a witch. She was just a regular village girl, but she does end up forced to be a witch, and we follow how she tries to break that curse or spell or whatever that's trapping her in there. But yeah, she's forced to live in that cottage, forced to be a witch, but it's very fun and cozy reading about her life there and how she tries to save their kingdom, and her and one of the village boys exchange letters, which is so fun to read about. about and so cute. It's so charming and whimsical. Now, these two books, these two series, are some of my absolute favorites. Some middle grade fantasy staples. They are The School for Good and Evil and Keeper of the Lost Cities, which both of them I love so much. In The School for Good and Evil, we have these opposite girls who are whisked away to the school for good and evil, but they get mistaken. For some reason, Sophie, the beautiful good girl, is sent into evil, and Agatha, the gloomy loner, is sent into good. They try to fix this, revert this, but maybe those are the schools that they belong in. We'll see. And basically they're training to later on go out and make their own fairy tales. And in here, Sophie Foster, a regular girl, discovers that she's a telepath and is taken to this new world of the lost cities with elves who also have magical abilities, which was so fun to read about. Honestly, if I could hop into any book, I'd probably choose this one because it just seems so cool. Their lost cities and elves and their magic powers and everything. Now we have the Princess Academy series, not set in autumn, but very charming, cozy vibes. Mary is one of the village girls chosen to attend the Academy for Princesses, and it's so fun to read about how they train to be princesses, and then one of them will get chosen to marry the prince. Very lovely friendships and adventures. Next we have Nancy Drew Diaries. I have more of these in my brother's room. And for me, the main genres for autumn are either fantasy or mystery, especially mystery, and this is a really good middle grade mystery series, kind of like kids' version of Nancy Drew, but the mysteries are still really fun to read about. Next, I don't really hear anybody talking about this one a lot, but it is The Girl with Silver Eyes. I read this when I was little and I really loved it. Katie is used to being alone. She has telekinetic powers that she must keep hidden, but she starts thinking maybe there's other kids like her who have the same powers as her who might be able to help her, and she wants to uncover the truth about her mysterious abilities. Also, look at this cover. It is so beautiful. Does it look like my face, guys? Obviously, if you haven't already, you should read Harry Potter, which I think is set in autumn and winter, and you guys already probably know what it's about. And I heard lots of people say that if you liked Harry Potter, you should definitely read Nevermore, where our main character is cursed to die on her 11th birthday, but when that day actually comes, she's whisked away to the magical city of Nevermore, and she's forced to do these trials to see if she can stay in the city. I've not read this, but my brother and my sister have, and my brother absolutely loved this. He bought the rest of the series for himself, and it's just one of his favorite series now. Another one that I haven't read, but my sister has, is the Mistwick School of Musicraft. Leela attends a magical school where she learns music and magic and uncovers secrets that could change the world. Next is A Dragon with a Chocolate Heart. I wanted to read this so that I could include it in here, but I haven't got enough time because we're going somewhere in a few days, and I just have to really hurry up, film this video, edit it. But my sister has read it, and when I asked her what books she thinks are perfect for autumn, this is one of the first ones she thought of. It's a very cozy, adventurous fantasy about a dragon who gets turned into a human girl, and I'm curious about this, so I might read it soon. We'll see. Next is the Tea Shop Girls. Our main character gets a job at her grandma's tea shop, and it's so fun to read about how she takes orders, makes different teas, and serves customers. The vibes are perfect for autumn. Now, an older one that I really liked when I was little is the Mandy Collection. This is a classic series about Mandy, who uncovers mysteries. She's also friends with the Cherokee Native Americans, and after her father died, she moved in with her rich uncle. It's so fun to read about her and her childhood best friend. Eventually, later in the series, she attends this boarding school, makes new friends there. Lots of really good mysteries. This is such a good mystery classical series, guys. Highly recommend this. I started reading the series when I was 9, and I think those are all of the recommendations, guys. I'm not excited to clean all this up. This is the aftermath of this video. Wish me luck. And then I also have to edit this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys were able to find some new books thanks to this video. I'm so excited for the autumn reading season. Let's get cozy. And comment down below, what's your favorite snack or drink to get cozy and read? For me, I sometimes like hot cocoa and popcorn, but let me know, what about you? Also, last minute, I made this lovely outfit, kind of to get into the vibes of this video. Comment down below an acorn emoji if you made it this far. I made this acorn myself out of clay, as well as a lot of other beads in this necklace. I already mentioned that in a different video though, so yay, subscribe, like this video, follow my social medias, follow my good rings, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!